Let's proceed with the first song. Let us proceed with the first song.
That was Aurora by Declan DP. Good morning. Hold on, let me get this microphone closer. It's been a while. How is everybody this morning? It is a chilly morning here in Portland. It is 35 degrees inside and outside of the studio. Cold morning. Winter is coming. It snowed on me yesterday, and only me. It was the most bizarre thing ever. I was at work, and, I'm doing my thing, and I look up, and I felt something hit me, and I look up, and there were snowflakes falling on me. And I look around, and it was sunny, and there was nowhere else. It was the strangest thing. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know where that came from, but it did, and it was interesting. But it's not snowing anymore. We actually have a coastal flood warning today, so don't know why. I think it might rain tonight. That's probably why. Okay, enough of my chatter. What are we doing on episode 22 of the Friday morning stream, which is on a different channel? Usually we do it on the other channel, but I'm switching all of that sort of streaming, gaming, anything that doesn't really have to do with any of our productions. I am moving over to the gaming channel. And then leaving that channel for the productions. So we're moving Friday morning stream over to this channel. Friday morning stream was a stream that we started after I stopped. I used to be a radio DJ every Friday morning from 10 to 12, 10 to 11:30, whatever it was. And when I stopped doing radio, I started doing this instead to sort of keep having that Friday morning broadcasting tradition going. And this is the 22nd one. I think we went for 19 weeks in a row. We did it. And then I went to Texas and I kind of stopped. And then we did do an episode 20 and an episode 21 eventually later down the line. And now here we are with episode 22. I don't do it as much anymore because I don't have free Fridays. My Fridays aren't free anymore. But I am today. So before I get on with my day, let's do a stream. Oh, look at Gloomy Squid is in the house. Hi, Gloomy Squid. All right. Gloomy Squid, I just uploaded the video of the Latias EX box that we got at the Northeast Card Expo. I still have nightmares about trying to back out of that parking lot. Yeah, that was real sketchy parking lot. We backed out of that. Okay, let's get into the stream. It's been a while, so I'm gonna see if I can get everything set up properly today because it's cold out. We're actually going to rank. We're gonna go back to ranking like we've done a lot on this on the Friday morning streams, but today we're going to rank the. Do I want to click share browser? Is that what I want to do? No, that's not what I wanted to do. Hold on. Technical difficulties. What was I going to say? Oh, we're going to rank all of the ice type Pokemon. Yikes. Okay, but if I do that, you guys are going to see all the ads. I did my best to get rid of the ads, and they're not getting rid of the ads. It's really annoying. When I think if I do it the other way, I do believe I can shrink it so you guys don't have to see the ads and only I do. I did inspect element and get rid of the ads, which kind of helped a little bit, but let's go to browser. Okay, and then I think I have to put in the URL. And it should. Okay, it does. For some reason, it doesn't show me the whole screen. How did I used to do this, guys? All right, we're just going to have to look at the ads. Want to break from the ads? Yes, I actually really do want to break from the ads. Oh, wait a minute. Wait just a minute. I have figured it out. Guys. I know something of what I'm doing. How am I judging them? That's a good question. I'm going to be judging them off of a mix of power appearance, but also based off of the generation that they came out in. I'm going to definitely be looking at that because there are some Pokemon that came out earlier in early generations that then got boosts in later generations, but I'm going to try to look at them at like when they came out in time and how they sort of have been affected, how they affected the game and what the game was during that generation of Pokemon. But I think I figured it out. I think I figured out what I wanted to do. I just have to see if this works. No, okay, that does not work. Alright, we're going to do it the boring way with the ads. Sorry, guys. Okay. I know there used to be a way that I could do it where I could, like, blow up the screen and you guys couldn't see it. See the ads? Maybe I can still do that, like, by doing that. If I just... Oh, wait a minute. I'm a genius. Hold on. If I do say so myself. Okay, hold on. Perfect. This is how we're going to do it. All right, guys. You should be able to see it now. And it should be all set. Perfect. All right. We're going to rank all of the Pokemon, Ice-type Pokemon at least, from Generations 1 through 9. And then, yeah, we're going to rank them based on power appearance and also based on how they affected the game when they came out. So starting with Generation 1, the Kanto region, the original 151 Pokemon, I believe there was 5 Ice-type Pokemon that came out in the original generation of Pokemon. And we're going to do this by Pokedex number as well. So in the original 151, I guess if we were going to do it by Pokedex number, we'd have to cheat a little bit and do a Alola forms, but I kind of want to hold off on that for now. So we'll still do it from Pokedex number, but starting with Red, Blue, and Yellow, the original 151. And the first Ice-type Pokemon in the original 151, I believe, is probably going to be Dewgong. So here we are. We have Dewgong. I'm going to place it here just so we can all look at Dewgong for a minute. Dugong is a fun one. I do like Dugong. Dugong does have a base stat total of 500. Not very great. It is a water ice type Pokemon. And in a region that already has a lot of water types, it's cool. It's got an interesting design. I mean, it's literally just a seal. Like it's a Arbor Seal. Uh, Dugong isn't really known for its accuracy at all. Um, Not to mention, for some weird reason in Pokemon, and it might just be because of how strong Ice type moves, our Ice type Pokemon are not necessarily known for their um, strong defense, but they do have some really strong moves like Ice Beam, Blizzard, Freeze Dry, those sort of things. But the Ice type Pokemon are always usually locked behind the late game. You usually cannot catch them until the late game, usually right before or after the 7th gym. And usually, if there is an Ice type gym, it is either the 7th or the 8th gym. It's never one of the first ones because they're usually a little bit more powerful. So you usually can't catch them until the end game. Dugong is one of those Pokemon you can't. Its first form, Seal, is actually only a water type. Dugong is water ice, which is, I guess, if you wanna, it does have, I guess, some defense and resistance to fire. But out of all of the ice type Pokemon that came out in Gen 1, I wouldn't say it is like the best, but I'm not gonna say it's the worst. One thing I do like about Gen 1 is that Blizzard was still 90% accurate, and now it is only 70% accurate. So there is that. We're going to leave, for now, I'm going to leave Dugong at the top of the B list. And now we move on to the next Gen 1 Ice type Pokemon, which is one that, again, is not too thrilling, in my opinion. And that would be Cloyster. Here we have Cloyster. Cloyster has a base set total of 565, so it has a stronger base set total than Dugong. It does resist ice and water just as Dugong does. This is just another one of your water ice type Pokemon from Gen 1. It's got a cool design. You can actually, I do believe that it is the earliest ice type Pokemon that you can catch in the game in Gen 1, maybe even in all generations. That might not be true, but you can catch Cloyster in Vermilion City with the Super Rod. I'm not sure. I can't remember when you get the Super Rod in the game, but you can catch not Cloyster, Shelder. You have to catch it as a Shelder. You cannot catch a wild Cloyster, and you can catch it in Vermilion City, or you can catch it in the Seafoam Islands, which is later in the game. So a little bit of I guess, bonus points because you can catch it so early in the game. But Cloyster is Cloyster. When I think of the move Aurora Beam, I think of Cloyster. That's about it. I'm actually going to put Cloyster under Dugong, just because when I've used Ice-type Pokemon, I've rarely ever used Cloyster, and I've used Dugong more than I've used Cloyster, which might throw some people off. I think there's some... The Cloyster fans out there might be upset about that. Yeah, Gloomy Squid. I like Cloyster. I do like Cloyster, but I think I personally like Dugong a little bit better. And now we're going to move on to, I believe, the next one is Jynx. Here's Jynxie. Jynx is Jynx. What is there to say about Jynx that has not already been said about Jynx? The sort of the problem Pokemon, the original problem Pokemon, that and Porygon. Jynx definitely has a very unique design. I think it's also probably Jynx and Mr. Mime, I think, are like sort of the first two humanoidist Pokemon. I guess Machamp too. When I first look at Jynx, you're sort of like, why did they make that a Pokemon? It's very interesting. It almost looks like it should be Ice Ghost instead of Ice Psychic, but it is Ice Psychic, and it does have a base set total of 435, which is actually worse than Dugong or Cloyster. It resists Ghost, and it's Psychic and Ice. But we're going to look at Jynx from being released in the first generation of Pokemon. This is what we're going to look at Jynx. Jynx, I am actually probably going to put in S tier, Gloomy Squid. Jynx you get as a trade in Cerulean City. If you trade a Poliwhirl to somebody in Cerulean City, you get a Jynx. And here's why Jynx is a really good Pokemon in the first generation. In the first generation, Gen 1 in Red, Blue, and Yellow, the poison type Pokemon was very overpowered. There was very little to counter poison types in the first generation. They basically, if you had a poison type, you could sweep most of the game. Poison type was very unchecked in that game. The only real counter to poison in the first generation was Psychic. And here you have a Psychic type Pokemon like Jynx, who's Ice Psychic, so you get the strong Ice type moves like Ice Beam and Blizzard, but you can also use strong Psychic type attacks to wipe out poison types like Psychic and Psywave, and you could also use Reflect. So I am actually going to... we are looking at this also in terms of when Pokemon came out and how they would have defined that generation. So I am actually going to put Jynx... I said S tier. I'm actually going to put it in the high A tier, simply because if it was going up against a poison type, it could probably do some good. Ice, Dark, LOL. Jynx should be Ice and Dark if you catch my... Yes, I get I catch your drift. Dark type did not come out until the second generation of Pokemon. There was no Dark type. Dark and Steel did not come out, so again, still not a lot of counters to Psychic. No real Dark, no real Ice, Steel counters. The problem, though, in Gen 1 with the... I'm going to go on a little rant here. With the Ghost type in Gen 1. So in Generation 1, Ghost type were supposed to be super effective against Psychic type. And if you watched the anime and you watched the Tower of Terror, where Ash goes to catch a Haunter so he can go back and beat Sabrina, you'll see, oh, Ghost is super effective against Psychic. And many children probably went to Lavender Town to catch a Ghost type to go and fight Sabrina. However, in a coding mistake in Red, Blue, and Yellow, they coded it wrong, and instead of being super effective against Psychic types, Psychics were 4 times super effective against Ghost types. So people would show up with a Ghost type Pokemon and get absolutely destroyed, especially if it was a Ghastly, Haunter, or Gengar, who were Ghost and Poison type, which would have been 4 times weak to a Psychic type. So it was a little bit of an oopsie moment there. Yikes. All right, moving on to the my favorite Gen 1 Ice type. You guys probably know who it is from now because there's only 2 left, and that would be Lapras. I love Lapras. I feel like Lapras is just a perfect Pokemon. You look at it, it's got that mix of like real animal, but like fun, majestic Pokemon look to it. It's, you know, when you look at it, you don't necessarily see an Ice type. It's not like its back has like ice on it, but it's just sort of like it's Lapras, and it looks really cool. It's got a base stat total of 545, and again, it resists ice and water, but it is a fun Pokemon, and you can teach it moves like Hydro Pump, Ice Beam, Surf, and Mist, which you're set. You're set right there. Those are 4 very solid moves, especially in the first generation. I give it bonus props too for being one of my favorite Pokemon that Ash has. Ash does not catch a lot of Ice type Pokemon in the show. Ice is my favorite type, and he's got Lapras, he's got Glalie. Am I forgetting one? I'm pretty sure that's it. And I really like Ice types, so Lapras is gonna be my first S tier Ice type Pokemon in the game. All right, next up we have the legendary bird itself, Articuno. Out of the legendary trio, Articuno is definitely my favorite, as you can probably guess because it's an Ice type. Articuno has a base set total of 610, and I mean, when you look at it, it is the freeze Pokemon, and when you look at it, everything about it just screams legendary, and it's not crazy. Like, the design isn't crazy. It's a very simple design, but something about it is so visually pleasing. I love to look at Articuno. I think it is a very majestic looking Pokemon. I have used Articuno on my ice teams before. I think it's a very beautiful Pokemon. I love Articuno. It does give you a resistance to ground. It does give you you are still weak. You are 4 times weak to rock. That is the only sort of downside about Articuno because it's ice and flying type. But I love this Pokemon so much, and I am also going to be putting Articuno in S tier just because I love it. And you can teach it moves Ice Beam, Blizzard, Agility, Mist. I think in the newer generations you can also teach it. You can also teach it Freeze Dry, which is a great move. My favorite Pokemon, Glaceon, is right now the number 2 best Pokemon to use in online competitive Legends ZA, and it is all thanks to the move Freeze Dry, which if you aren't familiar with the new battle style in the new online competitive where you're fighting 3 other people at once, it's a 1v1v1v1, a move like Freeze Dry can get multiple targets at once. So if you get Glaceon in the middle of the 3 other Pokemon fighting and use Freeze Dry, you can take them all out, especially with how common Pokemon like Feraligatr and Gyarados are, which are water types, and Freeze Dry, of course, is super effective against it. So it is the number 2 most used move. To me, Freeze Dry is Glaceon's special move, although I think 4 other Pokemon can learn it, including Articuno. All right, and now we're going to move on to Generation 2, the Johto region. Gold, Silver, and Crystal. Did you guys play any of the Gen 2 games, Gold, Silver, or Crystal? I have played Gold. I have not played Silver, and I have not played Crystal. But we're going to move on to the first Ice type, which I believe is going to be Smoochum. Let's look. The first Ice type Pokemon is actually Sneasel. Sneasel. Where do you catch Sneasel? You catch it on Mount Silver. So again, it's one of those late game Ice type Pokemon that you can catch. Like I have said before, Ice types are sort of. I'm gonna pull the chat up on my other computer here so I can read the chat and not tab out. I'm a genius. Ice type, like I said before, is unfortunately one of those types that's locked always towards the later game, and I think it is because of how strong the moves are. Again, not really because of the defensive wise, but the moves are pretty strong. Mist though is a really good move where you can't have your stats changed, especially in online competitive. But right now we're going to be looking at Sneasel, which is the first Ice type Pokemon in the Johto Dex. It is a Dark Ice type. The Dark type came out in this region. Dark and Steel did not exist in Gen 1. Sneasel. Oh, let me pull Sneasel up so we're looking at it. Where is Sneasel on this list? I'm not seeing Sneasel on this list. Oh, it's right in front of my face. Sneasel in Gen 2 is a fully evolved Pokemon. I actually had to tell my friend this the other day. He was all excited to catch a Sneasel and get a Weavile, and I had to tell him that Weavile was not a Gen 2 Pokemon. It was a Gen 4 Pokemon. And then he got all excited because he saw a Gligar and he wanted to get a Gliscor, and I had to again tell him that Gliscor is a Gen 4 Pokemon. So we're looking at Sneasel in terms of Gen 2, in terms of it being a fully evolved Pokemon, not being a basic Pokemon is what they're called when they are the first evolution. Sneasel's a base set total of 430, which is kind of low, but Sneasel does have 100% immunity to Psychic type Pokemon. It cannot be affected by Psychic. I'm trying to pull the stream up on my other computer so I can read the chat. It's immune to Psychic, and it's super effective against Ghost. But it's 4 times weak against Fighting. So again, it's a kind of one of those gamble. But Sneasel itself, I think, is another one of those Pokemon that has a very interesting design to it. I'm going to mute the chat so I don't hear it in the other computer. Is another one of those Pokemon that has a very unique design to it, and I really like it. And the episode, and the episode title is eluding me, but it's the one in Master Quest where Ash is trying to get the flame so they can walk the flame to the Johto League Silver Conference and light the torch. There is a Sneasel that's like blocking the way and destroying everyone's Pokemon. I'm actually going to be putting Sneasel in an A-tier Pokemon, in an A-tier list. I'm actually going to put it above. No, I'm gonna put below Jynx. Sneasel's a great Pokemon. I love Sneasel. And it's unfortunate that its evolved form does not come until later down the line. I would have loved to see a Mega Sneasel. I think a Mega Sneasel would have been really cool, but we didn't. Alas, we didn't get that. All right, now we're going to move on to the next one, which I think is going to be Swinub. Where is it? Swinub. There's good old Swinub. Swinub has a base set total of 250, but it is the first evolution, so we're not, nothing, not too bad. Sneasel does have resistance to electric types as well as a half resistance to poison, but it's weak against 5 types. Yikes. Which most ice type Pokemon do have 5 weak don't have 5 weaknesses. Or do they do have 5 weaknesses, but it's weak to fire, water, grass, fighting, and steel. Which is yikes, especially early in Johto. When do you catch it? You catch it on Ice Path. Alright, you can't catch against Swinub's another one of those Pokemon you cannot catch until late game. You can't catch it till Ice Path, which is the path that connects Mahogany Town with oh my gosh, what's the name of the city that whatever Claire's gym city is, Black Point City? I don't know. But Black Point City, that's not right at all. Okay, but Swinub is cute. I mean, it's literally the swine Pokemon. It's not the greatest, it's not the best. You catch it at level 21 and it evolves into Piloswine at level 33. I'm going to put Swinub in low C tier just because on its own, it's not going to be very good. You don't get it till the end of the game. You're going to have to do some... By the time you catch Sneasel, you're going to have to do some serious training if you want it to be effective. Now, you do catch it right before the Dragon-type gym, which Dragon-type Pokemon is... I mean, Ice-type is super effective against Dragon-type. So it is helpful because now you can have an Ice type going into the Dragon type gym, but you're going to have to put on some serious training in order to evolve it into Piloswine. You're not going to want to go into the battle with Claire using a Swinub. So I'm going to put it, I don't know, I'm looking at it, and Dawn had a Swinub. It was really cute. I'm going to put it B tier. All right, now we're moving on to its evolved form, Piloswine, which in the second generation... In Johto, Piloswine is the final evolution of this race. There is no Mamoswine. Mamoswine does not exist in Gen 2. Piloswine you cannot catch in the game. You have to evolve it from a Swinub. You catch on Ice Path, which evolves at level 33. Swinub has a base set total of 450. And... it suffers the Ice-type Shiny Curse, which I say that because if you look at Ice-type Pokemon in a whole and look at their Shinies kind of suck. There's no real way around it. The Shinies are really bad all the Ice-type Shinies are pretty bad. Some of them are pretty good, like Snover and Snorunt have really cool Shinies, but Piloswine's is not good at all. It's pretty yucky. It's like yellow. It's like lemon yellow. It kind of looks like a lemon with tusks. It does have, again, it has 5 weaknesses, being Ice Ground. But you're going to bring it into your gym battle with Claire against the Dragon-type Pokemon, and you're going to do pretty well. I'm going to keep Piloswine where... I'm going to put Piloswine above Cloyster, actually. I'm going to put it above Dugong. Sorry, Dugong. All right. Now we're moving on to the next Johto region, Ice type, which should be Delibird. Delibird. Here we have Delibird with a total of 350. It only resists ground type because it's ice and flying. And it has 4 weaknesses, fire, lightning, fire, electric, steel, and 4 times weakness to rock. Delibird is really kind of bad, you guys. Its signature, you catch it on Ice Path. It is a Pokemon Silver exclusive, and its special move, like its unique move present, has the chance of healing the opponent's Pokemon. Not good at all. You know, its move present, it randomly inflicts damage with a power from 40 to 120 or heals the target for a quarter of its max HP. So you could use its move and it might actually heal your opponent, which of course you do not want that ever. But I am going to give Delibird a little bit of props because it does not suffer from the ice type shiny curse. I would put it in D tier, but it does have a pretty cool shiny being purple, which looks actually kind of really cool with its design. And it's a core Team Rocket member. We see it a lot in the anime. I'm going to put it in C tier for now. Although, unlike its counterpart, Iron Bundle, which is really good, Delibird, not so much. Alright, and now we get to the last Gen 2 Ice type, which is Smoochum. I always kind of forget that this Pokemon exists, to be completely honest with you. Smoochum, with a base set total of 305. Smoochum is... It's one of those weird Pokemon where you can't actually catch it in the game at all. You can only get Smoochum through breeding, which breeding did come out in Gen 2. So it's definitely going to lose props. I mean, Gen 2 did come out with a bunch of baby Pokemon, but in order just to get Smoochum, you have to have a Jinx and breed the Jinx to get a Smoochum. And then you're going to have a Smoochum, and it's like, why do you need the Smoochum? Smoochum has 6 weaknesses, guys. Fire, rock, bug, ghost, steel, and dark. No, Smoochum is going right down to D tier. I'm sorry, Smoochum. Unlike when Jinx came out, and if people are joining this stream late, we're doing this based off of what generation these Pokemon came out in, and that's why Jinx is ranking so high, because in Gen 1 having Psychic is really good because Poison is really good. But no, it's Smoochum, I'm sorry, is going right to D tier. Sorry, Smoochum. And that's it for Ice types in Gen 2. Suicune is kind of honorary to me because it can learn so many Ice type moves, but it is not an Ice type. And fun fact to all of you out there that think Lugia is a water type, Lugia is not a water type. Lugia is a psychic and flying type. Yeah, let that sink in. It is the Lord of the Water, but it is not the water type Pokemon. Okay. I keep getting random ads. Now we're going to move on to Generation 3. The tropical Hoenn region. Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, and Fire Red and Leaf Green. What came out? Was it 6 Ice-type Pokemon came out in this, or is it 5? I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, and I can't count. In a region that is mostly water, there were quite a bit of Ice-type Pokemon. Unfortunately, again, you can't catch most of these Ice-type Pokemon until you get to that one cave towards the end of the game. But we're going to go down the list here. We're going to look at what the first Ice-type Pokemon is that you can catch in the Hoenn region. And I want to say it's probably going to be Spheal. I'm looking here. No. I am wrong. The first Ice-type Pokemon in the Pokedex for Hoenn is Ice Form, Cast Form, which I don't even know if this is going to be on my list here. It is, right here. Ice Form, Cast Form. Let's look at Ice Form, Cast Form. It is a gift that you get on Route 119. I believe it's by the Weather Institute. Ice Form, Cast Form has a base set total of 420. But the whole thing about Cast Form is that it changes forms based off of the weather. You can't like have a permanent ice type Cast Form. You'd have to always have to set it up with hail. It's got kind of a weird, cool design, I guess, where it's like in a snow cloud. I don't know. It's Ice Form. You can use Powder Snow and Hail are the only 2 ice type moves that it will learn normally. I believe Weather Ball does change typing depending on what form it can use. It can learn Ice Beam. It can learn Blizzard. But let's be honest here. Who really used a Cast Form all the way through? Cast Form is just one of those fun gimmick Pokemon. I'm putting Cast Form above. I'll put it above Delibird, but come on, who actually used Cast Form? In the chat, if you used a Cast Form, let me know, and you can shame me for bashing Cast Form. I remember trying to use cast form once and it didn't work, and I was really upset. So it wasn't very good. All right, so we're gonna move on to the next one in the Pokedex, which is Snorunt. Oh, Snorunt's such an awesome Pokemon. Look at this little runt. This little runt guy right here. He has a base set total of 300. It's weak to Fire Rock, Fighting, and Steel. And its ability is, it has 2 abilities: Inner Focus, which prevents the Pokemon from flinching, and Ice Body, which heals you if you get hit by an ice type attack. You can't catch it until you get to Shoal Cave, which is pretty late in the game. But I mean, it's a first stage Pokemon. You never expect a first stage to be good. I mean, if you get it up to level 43, you can teach it Blizzard, and at level 34 it will learn Ice Beam. Snorunt to me is another one of those kind of cool ones. Yes, I was actually about to say something about the Shivering Prestigious PG. So I think it is a cool Pokemon. It's just a little runt. It's just a little guy that's cold in the mountains. And of course, you got the episode Let It Snow, Let It Snow, Let It Snow, Let It Snow, Run. And Snorunt does get bonus points for, again, having a really cool shiny. If you have not seen Snorunt shiny, you know what? Just because I need to bless everyone with Snorunt shiny, because it is a very cool shiny. Here it is. This is Snorunt shiny. Look at that. That is a cool freaking shiny. All right. So I am going to put Snorunt in B tier. I shouldn't. I'm going to put it at the top of... you know what? I'm going to put it in B tier. I don't care. I want to put it above Swinub because it's better. And I love Snorunt. Took me forever to catch a shiny Snorunt in Legends ZA, by the way. Way too long. But I did. And then next up, of course, we're going to have Glalie, the evolved form of Snorunt. In Gen 3 in the Hoenn region, there is no Froslass. You can only evolve it into a Glalie. It evolves at level 42. And you catch Snorunt at level 26 to level 30. So you've got to do some serious training with it to get it to be a Glalie. I do have a little bit of a bias to Glalie. I mean, Ash has a Glalie, so I like that. It's one of Ash's only Ice-type Pokemon, that and Lapras. And he uses Glalie quite a bit in the advanced generation. Glalie does kind of fall off a little bit with only a base set total of 480, which isn't very good with some of the other final stage Pokemon. Glalie does kind of suffer from that shiny curse, but I am going to put Glalie at the top of the B tier. Actually, I'm going to put Glalie in A tier. No, I'm putting it at the top of the B tier. There was a reason. There's a reason they made Mega Glalie, guys. There's a reason they made Mega Glalie. It on itself wasn't very good. It is the face Pokemon, which is always weird. I never quite understood what Glalie is. We go from this little runt guy to whatever that Glalie is. It reminds me of that one boss from Super Mario Galaxy. We're going to pull it up now. Ice Boss, Super Mario Galaxy. And you're going to see what I mean. How it kind of looks like that guy. Where is he? This guy. Right here. Yeah, Glalie kind of looks like this guy a little bit. Alright. Actually, I think Glalie probably came out before Super Mario Galaxy, so that guy looks like Glalie. Anyway, moving right along, we got Spheal. Spheal is an ice water type. And I actually believe you catch Spheal pretty early on. Nope, you can't catch Spheal until Shoal Cave, like all the other ones. Spheal is a basic total of 290, but it is a first basic Pokemon. It has 4 weaknesses, being Grass, Electric, Rock, and Fighting. You would think that it would cancel out being Water type with Rock, but whatever. Its ability is Ice Body and Thick Fat, which halves damage from Fire and Ice type moves. It's Spheal. I'm going to put it above Delibird. If I can, if it'll let me. Alright, we're going to move on to, at level 32, it evolves into Sphealio. Sphealio has a base set total of 410. pretty decent. I'm going to put it above Dugong. And it's got a cool shiny too. And we're just going to hammer some of these out and not get too into detail about all of them. And then we have Walrein. Walrein is an awesome Pokemon. I have used Walrein on more teams than I can count. It's got a base set total of 530. And its shiny is really cool. And it can learn some really amazing moves. It can learn Sheer Cold. Real quick Sheer Cold story right here. Sheer Cold is a one-hit KO move in Pokemon. And it's got a 30% accuracy of actually hitting. Now, back when Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire came out, there was the whole secret base thing where you could have secret bases and you could battle your friends. Secret bases were also in the original Ruby and Sapphire. Anyway, you could battle your friends. And my friend, he did a triple battle in his base with Groudon, Kyogre, and Rayquaza. And both Groudon and Kyogre would Primeval Evolve, and he would Mega Evolve Rayquaza, pretty much sweeping anyone that would come in. And I got really upset at him with that because we sort of had like this challenge going on. So then I challenged him to a battle, and I used my ice team, and I had a Walrein on it, and I am not kidding. I got 5 Sheer Colds off in a row, all of them hitting, and my friend was so furious. I don't know how, like, that is like the most luck I've ever had in my entire life. I probably used up all my luck right in that battle with all those Sheer Colds. 30% accuracy. I don't know how it happened. And I swear to God that happened. All right, I'm putting Walrein at the top of the... I'm putting Walrein at the top of the A tier, actually. It is a great Pokemon, probably one of the best in Hoenn. But alas, there's still one more. And it is the perfect Ice-type Pokemon. You probably already guessed it because there's only one left in Gen 3, but it is the perfect Ice-type Pokemon. It is automatically going into the S tier, and that is Regice, or Regice, however you want to pronounce it. Regice has a total base set total of 580. Its ability is Clear Body, which prevents other Pokemon's moves or abilities from lowering this Pokemon's stat, which is pretty good. It does, unfortunately, suffer from the shiny curse, where if you look at shiny Regice, it just looks like normal Regice. You'd probably, if you were to, you put them next to each other, you would probably pick shiny Regice as the normal Regice. Regice is everything that I want out of an Ice-type Pokemon, right? You look at it, and it's like, it is a chunk of ice that has been shaved. It has got that unique design of Pokemon, a unique Pokemon design. It's just, it is so cool. It is such a cool Pokemon. I love Regice. I've used it on my teams before. It can learn some really good moves. It can learn, just on its own, it can learn Ancient Power, Super Power, Icy Wind, Explosion, Zap Cannon, Amnesia, Hyper Beam, Lock On, and then you can teach it a slew of TMs. It is an amazing Pokemon. I love it. It is going to be the first top of the S tier Ice-type Pokemon. It is everything that I'd love to see. I would have loved to see a Mega Regice. Unfortunately, I don't think any of the Regis are ever going to get a Mega. I think if they were going to, it would have come in Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. They don't have a Mega yet. They probably will never get it. All right. Now we're going to move on to Generation 4, the Sinnoh region, Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, Heart Gold, and Soul Silver. A lot of Ice-type Pokemon came out in the 4th gen. And I'm going to try to look through to see which one is the first that came out. Remember, in Gen 4, they had a lot of evolved forms of Pokemon from previous regions, mostly from Gen 2. And it looks like the very first Ice-type Pokemon in Diamond and Pearl in the 4th generation in the Pokedex is Snover. Where are you, Snover? Here you are. We're looking at Snover here for a second. Snover you can catch in Mount Coronet, Acuity Lakefront, Route 216, Route 217. All very late game Pokemon that you can catch. Really, you can't catch it until you're going towards Snowpoint City. Snover does have a really cool design. I do like Snover. Unfortunately, it has a basic total of 334, but unfortunately, it has a 4 times weakness to fire, which isn't good. And it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weakness, 7 weaknesses. Rock, fighting, poison, bug, flying, steel, and fire. That's not good. It's a lot of weaknesses. But its ability Snow Warning is really good, where as soon as it enters a battle, it summons a hailstorm. So if you have Pokemon that have the ability Snow Cloak, which boosts its evasiveness in a snowstorm, it's good. Um, so unfortunately, it does have a low base set total. It does have 4 times weakness to fire. It does have 7 weaknesses, but it's got a really cool shiny. Shiny Snover is really, really cool. I'm gonna pull it up for you. And I do have one in Legends EA actually. But Shiny Snover is really cool. It sort of changes. It's white and blue. Very cool. I am going to put Snover, because of its cool shiny, I am going to put Snover in the top of the C tier. Actually, I'm going to put it above Swinub. We're gonna have to, once we get through the list, we're going to have to organize a little bit. We'll probably have to take some out of the B tier. There's quite a few. All right, so then next up we have Abomasnow, which evolves from Snover at level 40. You can catch Abomasnow in the wild in Mount Coronet, but it's only a 20% chance of catching this Pokemon. Abomasnow has a base set total of 494. Again, there is a reason why there is a Mega Abomasnow. I'm not going to mention any new Pokemon in Legends EA because I know that not everybody has played the game yet. I'm not going to spoil it. This tier list also only ranks up through Scarlet and Violet, so I can't. But Mega Abomasnow, of course, being the first Mega Ice type. Mega Abomasnow, again, it has 7 weaknesses. Normal Abomasnow has 7 weaknesses. Not great. Its shiny is pretty good. Hold on, let me put Abomasnow on the list here. In every game that I've made an ice team, Abomasnow is always my front runner. It's always the first Pokemon that I use because it has the ability Snow Warning. So when I'm using my ice team, I like to start it up so I already have a hailstorm going when I start. I'm going to put Abomasnow right there in the B tier. Again, Abomasnow, it keeps the same color design of Shiny Snover, so it still keeps that white and blue, which is really cool. So it's going to stay like that. Oh, I messed up a little bit there. All right, the next ice type you can catch, or not can catch, that's in the Pokedex, is Weavile. Weavile, the evolved form of Sneasel, a Pokemon that came out in the 2nd generation, has a base set total of 510. It's weak. It's 100% resistant to Psychic, and it's resistant to Ghost, Ice, and Dark. Its weaknesses. It has 5 weaknesses, unfortunately: Fire, Rock, Bug, Steel, and Fighting. And it's a 4 times weakness to Fighting because Fighting is super effective against both Dark and Ice types. But its ability is Pressure, which cuts the opposing Pokemon's PP usage, which is kind of cool. Its shiny is kind of hideous. I mean, it's cool, but it's kind of hideous. It's pink and yellow. I'm not even going to pull it up. You can pull it up on your own if you want to look at it. Sneasel, Weavile, you can't catch. You have to catch a Sneasel first and then evolve it holding a Razor Claw during the night, which, it's probably going to be the same thing as Gligar, which in Diamond and Pearl, it is locked until after the game. I think in Platinum they fixed it so you can get it before the after game. But Weavile is a cool Pokemon. It's got a cool design. It's also another one of those Pokemon where they did that cool thing where they introduced it a generation before in one of the anime movies. We see that a lot in the anime movies. They always introduce a Pokemon from the next generation. In Pokemon 2000, they introduced Lugia in Pokemon Heroes or Pokemon Forever, where they introduced Latios and Latios, of course, a generation before. And then in Lucario and the Mystery of Mew, they introduced Lucario and Weavile in that movie as well. So we got to see 2 new Pokemon that weren't even in the games yet. The games weren't out. We got to see these cool new Pokemon. So, I mean, that was kind of cool. Oh, Slowking was also introduced in 2000. Okay, I'm gonna put Weavile. We're looking at this in terms of the generation that it came out. Now, there aren't a lot of fire types in Diamond. If you're looking at Diamond and Pearl, which are the game this Pokemon came out, there were not a lot of fire types available. So you didn't really have to worry as much about the fire type weakness. And I guess we could have counted that with Abomasnow too. Like, besides like the Chimchar line, I think your only other choice really, I think, was Ponyta and Rapidash. I'm trying to think in my head if there were any, like, the fire type Pokemon in Sinnoh. That was always a big problem that people had with Diamond and Pearl, which a lot of these things were fixed with Platinum being the definitive edition. I'm gonna put Weavile above Celio, but below Abomasnow. All right. Next up, we have Frostlass. I love Frostlass. Fun fact: I've never actually really used a Frostlass on my team, which is gonna be like I always make an Ice type team, but Frostlass is a Pokemon I've never really used before. But now I'm using it in Legends EA. Its shiny is really, really cool. It's like a subtle shiny, but it's cool. It sort of turns it from red to purple in the middle there, which blends in with its eyes. It's really cool. It's a ghost ice type, which gives it some really interesting move sets. It has a base set total of 480. But it's fun. I really, really do like Frostlass, and I wish I used it more before. But we're gonna look at it in the generation that it came out in, obviously being Gen 4. You have to evolve it with a Dawnstone from a Snover, and you can't catch it until the end of the game. You can't catch Snover until end game, or not end game, but you can't really catch it until you get towards Snowpoint City, and then you have to evolve it into Frostlass. Frostlass being Ghost Ice. I'm gonna put it. I'm keeping it in A tier. You know what? I don't care. This is my list. All right, let's move on to the next one. Being Frost Form Rotom, which is interesting that it's on this list when it's not actually an Ice type. Well, let me rephrase that. In Gen 4, in the generation that came out in, Frost Form Rotom is an electric ghost type. But I do believe it changes to an electric ice type later down the line. Let me look in black and white. It might have been in black and white that it changed. Yeah, so by black and white, Rotom was an electric ice type. Was it in Heart Gold Soul Silver? Let me look. They might have changed it in Heart Gold Soul Silver. Nope. Okay, so it wasn't until the Gen 5 black and white that it was changed to a electric ice type. But whatever. Ice Form Rotom, I mean, it's a fridge. It can learn Blizzard. It's pretty much it. And I believe it learns Blizzard upon turning into Ice Form Rotom. It can't in Gen 4. It cannot learn Ice type moves in Gen 4. It is Electric Ghost. That is it. We're going to put it in low C tier just from the generation that it came out in. Not very good. And next up, I'm going to be a little bit biased on this one, but next up is my favorite Pokemon, Glaceon, which is going to, of course, make top of the S tier. Top of the S tier. What can I say about Glaceon that I haven't already said? Glaceon, it protects itself by freezing its fur into sharp needles. It can drop its body temperature below negative 75 degrees Fahrenheit. Its base set total is 525. It has 4 weaknesses, being Fire, Rock, Fighting, and Steel. Its ability is Snow Cloak, which I believe in Scarlet and Violet, I think it has a hidden ability, I think, is Ice Body. I love Glaceon. Can learn some really great moves. My Glaceon that I have in Legends EA right now, I have it with Ice Beam, Freeze Dry, Calm Mind, and Quick Attack. Can also learn good moves like Mirror Coat, Barrier, and other things. I love Glaceon. I like Shadow Ball. It can learn Shadow Ball, which is another great move. Everything about Glaceon, I love. In Gen 4, in the generation that it came out in Gen 4, in Diamond and Pearl, which is the game it came out in, you cannot get Glaceon until you defeat the Elite Four, which is very upsetting. Because you can't catch Eevee until you get the National Dex. Now, they fixed that in Pokemon Platinum, which is the definitive edition of Diamond and Pearl. In Pokemon Platinum, you are given an Eevee by Eterna in, what is that city? I almost said Eterna City. Whatever. When you Eterna City, you are given an Eevee. I believe it's in an egg, or you just given it. I can't remember exactly how it is, but you are given an Eevee, and then that's pretty early on in the game, and you can sort of train it up. And then by the time you get to going towards Snowpoint City on that snowy route, that's when you run into Ice Rock, and you can evolve Eevee into Glaceon. For those of you that are not aware, I think it was before Sword and Shield. I think every game before Sword and Shield that Glaceon came out in, you had to evolve it next to Ice Rock. You had to level it up next to Ice Rock. It did not evolve with an Ice Stone. So you had to evolve it on the route to Snowpoint City. You had to evolve it in that cave in the Unova region. I believe in Ice Path in Johto and Heart Gold Soul Silver, the Ice Rock was there. Ice Rock in X and Y would have been on that one snowy place that I am not remembering the name of it. And I can't remember in Alola. Is it in Mount Lanakila? Or maybe in Alola it was the first one with an Ice Stone. I can't remember. But you got to evolve it next to Ice Rock. Glaceon's going up to top of the S tier for me. And of course, right now in Legends ZA, it is the second best Pokemon in competitive. It's staying up there. Can't learn Freeze Dry quite yet. I don't remember which generation Freeze Dry came out in. But again, it's going to stay up there because it's a great Pokemon. Next up, we have Mamoswine. We'll put the Mamoswine there right now to grade it. Mamoswine, of course, the evolved form of Piloswine, which Mamoswine is a cool Pokemon. It's my Pokedex app just crashed out. It's another one of those Gen 4 Pokemon where they evolved a Gen 2 Pokemon. Mamoswine has a base set total of 530, and it has 5 weaknesses: Fire, Water, Grass, Fighting, and Steel, which can be kind of bad. Its shiny is pretty bad. Speaking about shinies, Glaceon is another Pokemon that suffers from the shiny curse. If you put shiny Glaceon next to normal Glaceon, you're going to think shiny Glaceon is the normal Glaceon. Mamoswine is kind of cool. It goes from being a swine into being a mammoth, which is a really cool design for a Pokemon. It can learn some really good attacks. I really like Mamoswine. When I played Brilliant Diamond, I was really disappointed in Brilliant Diamond that they did not have I think, looking past the way that the game looked, I know a lot of people had a problem with the way the game looked. I didn't care as much about the way the game looked as I did about the fact that it did not have the Platinum Dex, so I couldn't get Glaceon until post-game. So my Ice type was Mamoswine, and I believe you could catch Swine up pretty early in the game. I really like Mamoswine. I am actually putting Mamoswine at the top of the A tier. Below Walrein, but up towards the top. And now we're going to move on to the last Ice-type Pokemon in Sinnoh. One that probably nobody ever uses or really ever thinks about, but it is an Ice-type. And that would be Ice-type Arceus. Arceus has a base set total of 720. 720. It resists Ghost and has a 2 times weakness to fighting, and that would obviously because it's a normal type. But I wonder, I'm going to pull up the National Dex real quick, because I'm wondering if I can pull up the stats specifically of Ice-type Arceus, or if it does not. I don't think I can pull up Ice-type Arceus stats. I believe it keeps the same stats when it changes forms. Arceus changes forms based off of the plates that it's holding. And if you give it the Ice plate, it turns into an Ice type with a sort of blue shine to it. I believe Arceus can learn any TM move, right? So it can learn Blizzard, Ice Beam, Hail, the normal stuff. And I think it is Judgment. Judgment might change depending on what. If the user is holding an appropriated plate or drive, the damage inflicted will match it. So yeah, Judgment is Arceus' special move, and it is a move that, depending on what plate it holds, does change from normal to whichever type it uses. Arceus, strong. I mean, it's Arceus. It's strong. It's a strong Pokemon. I've never personally used Ice Form Arceus. Arceus being a very difficult Pokemon to catch. I am going to put it... I'm going to put it in C tier. Just because I've never used it, and I feel like most people aren't going to use it. When you're going to use an Ice-type Pokemon, you don't think about Arceus. Alright, and that's it for Gen 4. We're going to move on to Gen 5. Black, White, Black 2, White 2. the Unova region. Quite a few Ice-type Pokemon came out in Unova. Again, unfortunately, they are kind of locked behind the late game, which is a common theme here. Now, the first one that you can catch, I want to say, is going to be Vanillite. And I was right. Vanillite is the first Ice-type Pokemon in the black and white decks. The Vanillite line is one of those Pokemon lines that faced scrutiny when it first came out. People like to look at the Vanillite line and the Trubbish line and say Pokemon ran out of ideas. It's an ice cream cone. I love it. And I have always loved Vanillite. I thought Vanillite was so cool. So cool. It has a basic total of 305 and 4 weaknesses: Fire, Rock, Fighting, and Steel. And its ability is Ice. It has 3 abilities that can learn: Ice Body, Snow Cloak, and Weak Armor. Its shiny is pretty cool. It's purple. And you catch it in Cold Storage, which is earlier on in the game than you can catch most ice types. It's still kind of late. I think that's the 5th gym, Driftvale City. But it's still kind of fun. Well, I think that if they had made Vanillite a dual type with Ice and Ghost instead of just Ice type, I think people could have looked at it a little differently instead of just being an ice cream cone Pokemon. I could get it if it was an Ice Ghost type and it was an Ice, let's say, and the premise of it was an ice cream cone that, a ice cream that came from an abandoned ice cream shop that turned into a ghost type, or a ice cream cone that fell on the ground that then turned into a ghost. You know what I mean? If it was Ice Ghost, I think I could have seen it a little bit better. I still think it's a cool Pokemon. Unfortunately, it's not very strong in itself as Vanillite, but it's very cute, and for being very cute, I'm going to put it above Swinub. And then it evolves into Vanillish at level 35. Vanillish has a base set total of 395. Not very great. Now, you can't catch it until Dragon Spiral Tower. That's why if you catch it as a Vanillite, you can kind of get it up. You can get it sooner. Out of the 3 stages of this Pokemon, I think Vanillish is the least... I don't like it as much. I don't think it looks as cool. Vanillite is cute, and I think Vanillish is just derpy. I'm going to put Vanillish at the top of the C tier. It's just kind of derpy looking. And then at level 47, it evolves into Vanillux. And Vanillux is a pretty good Pokemon in the Unova region. I've used Vanillux in several teams in Black and White, and I'm going to put it above Weavile. Vanillux has a base set total of 535, which is pretty cool. Again, only has 5 weaknesses. It's got kind of a cool design. And the champion himself uses a Vanillux. Alder has a Vanillux. So we're going to put Vanillux up there. And I know I'm taking a while to do this, so I'm going to just start trying to hammer through them and not do as much explanations. And it evolves from Vanillish into Vanillux at level 47. And I don't think you can catch it in the game. You have to evolve it. Yes, you do. All right. The next ice type is going to be Cubchoo. Cubchoo is another really cute one. Cubchoo has a base at total of 305, has 4 weaknesses. Its shiny is kind of cool. What more to say? You can't catch it until Twist Mountain. Actually, you can catch it on Route 7 too, but Route 7 and Twist Mountain are both kind of late in the game. I will put Cubchoo and Snover sort of side by... No, Cubchoo's cute. I'm putting Cubchoo above Snover just because it's cute. Nah, Snover. Okay. It evolves at level 37 into Beartic, which you can catch. You can't catch Beartic in the wild at Dragon Spiral Tower. It's got a base set total of 485, 4 weaknesses. It's actually really strong. It is a very strong Pokemon, especially if you're going to bring it into your gym battle with Iris or Drayden, which is the 8th gym and the Dragon Gym in that game. Beartic is really good. I'm going to put Beartic in A tier. Fun fact about Beartic. Beartic was... I'm going to put Beartic at the top of the A tier. Beartic was the very first Pokemon I've ever gotten to level 100. Fun fact. Alright, moving after that, we have Cryogonal. Cryogonal is another Pokemon that I think should have been Ice Ghost. It's got a very interesting design where it's just a snowflake. It's got a basic total of 485, 4 weaknesses. It does have Levitate, which gives you full immunity to ground types, but I mean, Ice type's already resistant to ground type anyway. Its shiny is kind of cool. It can learn some interesting moves, but I don't think it can learn Ice Beam, but it can learn Sheer Cold. You can probably teach it Ice Beam through a TM. You can teach it Ice Beam through TM. You catch it in Twist Mountain. I'll put Cryogonal at the top of the C tier just because it's interesting. I don't know. It's Cryogonal. I've actually personally never used a Cryogonal. I would have really liked to see a Mega Cryogonal. Cryogonal needed a Mega Evolution, or Sayonara Goal, or however you want to call it. Cryogonal needed a Mega Evolution. I do believe, though, that it is Bryson's ace, I think, is Cryogonal and not Beartic, which is weird. All right, and then, of course, moving along to the final 3 Ice-type Pokemon in this region. Kyurem. Instant S-tier Pokemon. Kyurem is an Ice Dragon type, or Dragon Ice type. Its design is really cool. I have always loved Kyurem since the day it came out. It has a base set total of 680. It has 4 weaknesses: Rock, Dragon, Fighting, and Steel. Its ability is Pressure. Its shiny is really cool. You catch it at level 75, and it knows some really good moves. Its special unique move being Glaciate, which is really cool, that it has its own unique move. I love Kyurem. But do you know what I love better than Kyurem? Black Kyurem. Black Kyurem, actually, let me look at it in Black 2, White 2, which is the generation it came out in. Black Kyurem is... It does not change into Ice Electric or Dragon Electric. It stays Dragon Ice, but it has a basic total of 700. And it has one of the coolest moves in the entire game, which is Freeze Shock. Does 140 damage with a 90% accuracy. It does take 2 turns to use this move, but it is really cool. I love Black Kyurem. Bring back Black Kyurem. And then, of course, and you catch it at level 55. In Black 2, White 2, you catch it at level 55, or Kyurem at level 55, because it is the box art of that region of that game. And then, of course, we have White Kyurem, which I'm going to put... White Kyurem has another really cool shiny, basic total of 700. I've actually never used White Kyurem because I had Black 2. It's kind of hard for me to rate Black Kyurem. I've never used the move Ice Burn. It's kind of a cool concept where it's Ice Dragon, but it can use fire type moves. I'll put it above. I'll put it next to Black Kyurem just because I've never used it. It's kind of hard for me to rate it, but they both have the same base set total. They're both really cool. They both have really unique moves. So I'm going to put them together. All right. Now moving on to, I don't know if we want to count. Okay, never mind. Moving on to X and Y. Generation 6. X, Y, Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire. We got a couple of Ice-type Pokemon that came in here. Gen 6 actually came out with the least amount of Ice-type Pokemon. It only came out with 4 in that region, which I guess in Black and White and in Diamond and Pearl they came out with a bunch. So I guess we can kind of forgive them for it. I guess technically came out in 5 if you want to count Mega Abomasnow. But we'll count the very first Ice-type Pokemon that you can catch in that game is going to be Amora. Amora is very cute. Look at Amora. Very cute Pokemon. It is the fossil Pokemon of that game. It is... Yikes. It's weak to 6 types. Water, grass, rock, ground, fighting, and steel. Not good, but you do have you're not weak to fire. Yay. And it's hidden. One of its moves is Refrigerate, which makes all normal type moves become ice type moves. And its hidden ability being Snow Warning. It does have a really cool shiny. Really cool shiny. I always use the Amara line on my playthrough of X and Y in the Kalos region. I've never had any problems with its resistances. I really love it, and I taught it Hyper Beam, which makes it an ice type move with the ability to Refrigerate. And Amora is just downright freaking adorable. I am going to put it there. I think that's a pretty fair spot to put Amora. Now let's look at its evolution. Of course, being Aurorus. Aurorus, people. I've had this conversation with people about Aurorus, and people like it's just a dinosaur. It's not that cool. I think it's a really cool. I think it's a really cool design for this Pokemon. Rock Ice. It's got a base set total of 521. Does have 6 weaknesses. Is shiny is really cool. It's just a really cool Pokemon. I am gonna put it up there with Walrein and Mamoswine. I'm gonna put Walrein above it though, if it'll let me. I love it. I love Aurorus. I love Aurorus. I have not caught it in ZA yet. I want to. I'm a little afraid I'm gonna spend way too much time trying to shiny hunt it. But I do want to. All right. Next up we have Bergmite. Bergmite has a base set total of 304. It's weak to 4 types. I mean, what can you say about Bergmite? That there's not really much to say. You can catch it in Frost Cavern or the Friend Safari. Not very good on its own. I will put it above Snover. Next up, we have it evolves into Avalugg at level 37, which you cannot catch Avalugg in the game itself. You have to wait until you get you have to evolve it from a Bergmite. Avalugg has a base set total of 514. I'm gonna be honest with Avalugg here, you guys. I was saying earlier that I really like Regice's design because it's sort of like a carved out chunk of ice, and that's really cool. Like when I think of an ice type, that's what I think. The idea behind Avalugg is that it's the iceberg Pokemon, right? And it's cool. It's cool. It looks like an iceberg. They did a good job on that. But to me, it kind of looks like a Torterra with its back cut off. It's like a very similar design to Torterra. I wish that they did some like when you see an iceberg, they're not usually flat. I wish it had some like elevation in its design. It is a really cool Pokemon. It is in the games. It is the signature Pokemon of Wolfric, the Ice Gym Leader. Why is Glalie so high? Oh, Glalie's so high up because Ash had one. And there was a really funny meme that came out. I have it somewhere, but it'll take forever to pull it up. A really funny meme that came out in the during the anime when Ash battled Wolfric and XYZ. Ash was on like a winning streak. Him and Greninja were on a winning streak through all of XYZ, and then he gets up to this battle with with Wolfric, and he uses Avalugg, and Avalugg absolutely destroys Greninja. And there's this really funny meme that's like, it's Ash and Greninja on the front of the Titanic, and then the Titanic hits the iceberg, and and it's Avalugg, and the Titanic goes down. And I laughed so hard at that meme when it came out. If I find it, I'll put it in the community tab of the YouTube channel so everyone can see it. But it was like the funniest thing that I had ever seen, at least at that point in time. It brought such a smile to my face. So I will put Avalugg at the top of the B tier for that because it was really funny. And then of course we have Mega Abomasnow, the first Mega Ice type Pokemon to come out. And hold on, let me pull up Mega Abomasnow stats. First Mega Ice type, and the only Mega Ice type in X and Y. It has a base set total of 594. It has a whopping 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weaknesses. 4 times weak to fire. But shiny Mega Abomasnow is really cool. I mean, it was the first Mega Ice type. It was cool. It was unique. To me, it just kind of it looks like Abomasnow, but if all of its hair was frozen and standing up. I will put it above Avalugg because it's definitely the best ice type in X and Y. And it was cool. I had a Mega Abomasnow. My biggest issue with the gym leaders in X and Y was that none of them used Mega Pokemon except for what's her name? Corinne, whatever her name was with the Mega Lucario. But she didn't use that in your gym match. It was after when you battled her as the Mega Evolution like specialist. But in the anime, Wolfric did use Mega Abomasnow. That was kind of cool. So Mega Abomasnow was unique to Wolfric's team. All right, and then next up we have Mega Glalie. which came out in Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. As the second Mega Ice type. Glalie definitely needed it. It definitely needed a Mega Evolution. Mega Glalie has a base set total of 580, 4 weaknesses. Its shiny is not very great. But it's very strong, and I used a Mega Glalie throughout my entire playthrough of Auras, or when I could get it. Very cool design. I mean, it's still Glalie, but I think Mega Glalie looks a lot cooler than normal Glalie. The thing is, if you look at the Pokedex entries, the Mega Evolutions, they're all very painful. Mega Glalie breaks its jaw when it Mega Evolves, and that is why it's in so much pain. I will put Mega Glalie up here above Frostlass. I do like Mega Glalie. Alright, now we're moving on to Gen 7. Sun and Moon. Actually, we'll use Sun and Moon. Now, Sun and Moon did not have a lot of Ice-type Pokemon in it. In fact, there were only 2! Which is very sad. Very sad for me, as an Ice-type Pokemon enjoyer. Technically 3 if you want to include Type Null and all of its forms. Let me see, is that on my list here? Type Null is, yes, or Silvally is. But we'll start with Crabrawler is only a fighting type. But when it evolves into Crabominable, you can catch Crabrawler pretty early in the game, can't you? No, you can't. Yes, you can. And then you can evolve it using an... No, okay, so you have to evolve it in Mount Lanakila. So yes, the Ice Rock was still in Sun and Moon, Alola. Crabominable is an ice fighting type, fighting ice type, first and only ice fighting type. Basic total of 478. It does have 6 weaknesses: fire, psychic, fighting, flying, steel, and fairy. Not good. It is kind of a very cool and unique idea for Pokemon because we've never had an ice fighting type before. Can learn some pretty cool moves: Dynamic Punch, Close Combat, Ice Hammer, which I think might be a unique move to it. I liked Crabominable. Its shiny is pretty cool. It's just sort of it's red and it's blue, so it's kind of like the opposite in boxing. Where'd I put Crabominable? I'm gonna put Crabominable. We're gonna have to really organize this a little bit. I'm gonna put Crabominable right there. And then we have Silvally, which is a normal type, which kind of like Arceus, it changes types based on the disc that it's holding. It has a base set total of 570. It resists Ghost and is weak to fighting. The only Ice type move it can learn by default is Ice Fang, but with TMs it can learn Ice Beam, Hail, Ice Beam, and Hail. That's about it. In terms of Ice type Pokemon, not the best. I will put it there. I mean, when you think of ice types, you're not thinking of Silvally. Let's be honest here. We are not thinking of Silvally. Oh, we have other Pokemon, ice type Pokemon in this generation too. I did forget about the other 4 that came out in this generation as well. The Alolan forms. Alright, we got Alolan Sandshrew. Alolan Sandshrew is Ice Steel. Another really cool concept for a Pokemon because Steel is super effective against Ice. Unfortunately, that does mean you're going to have a 4 times weakness to Fire and Fighting. But it does give you 100% resistant to Poison, quarter resistant to Ice, half resistant to Grass, Normal, Psychic, Dragon, Bug, Flying, and Fairy. And will make you super effective against Fairy as well. Ice Steel, it's a cool Pokemon. I believe it was a Sun exclusive. No, it was a Moon exclusive. And you can get it in Tapu Village, you can get it or on Mount Lanakila. Very cool Pokemon. This one does evolve with Ice Stone, so Ice Stone must have been in this game. I'm gonna put it top of the C tier. No, I'm gonna put it right here. And then we have Alolan Sandslash, basic total of 450. All really the same things as Alolan Sandshrew, but it's a Sandslash. And I'm going to rank it above. Actually, I'm going to put it up here because it can take out... It's going to have super effective moves against Fairy types, and Fairy types are overpowered. And then we have Snowy, Alolan Vulpix. I love Alolan Vulpix. Basic total of 299. I don't care. I'm putting Alolan Vulpix in S tier. And I'm going to be putting Alolan Ninetales in S tier. It is Ice Fairy type. I love Alolan Ninetales so much. So I don't care. I'm putting it at the top of the S tier. It's a great Pokemon. All right. Bias much? Yes. Okay. Let's move on to Gen 9. Gen 8. Jeez, I'm skipping here. Gen 8 being Sword and Shield. And the first Sword and Shield Pokedex Ice type is going to be Gigantamax Lapras. Lapras needed a win. And it got a Gigantamax form. Gigantamax Lapras has a base set total of 535. I never actually used Gigantamax Lapras, which I'm kind of upset about because it's a Shield exclusive and I had Sword. But it's cool. I'm going to put it up with normal Lapras. Where is it? I'm going to put it up above normal Lapras. It's a very cool design of a Pokemon, too. I love Gigantamax Lapras. Alright, and now we're going to move to the Ice-type Pokemon. In Generation 8 itself, the first one that you can catch is going to be Ice Face form with a base set total of 470. Cute, but I'm going to put it in... I'll put it above Bergmite. I've never actually used Ice Q. And we're going to put its other form with it. So, because, whatever. Because I'm just trying to get through these now. And then we have the two fossil Pokemon. Arctozolt, which is electric ice type. Another really cool combination that we never really had before. Basic total of 505. And now it can learn electric type attacks, but it does now include weakness to ground type. We'll put Arctozolt. Again, a Pokemon I've never used. I'm just going to put it in... I'm going to put Arctozolt, and I'm going to put Arctofish in C tier. I've never used them. Electric Ice is really cool, though. Because I'm trying to get through this list here. Oh, and we've got Snom. Snom is really cool. I think Snom is really cool. I never actually really used Snom because it's kind of weak. But its ability, hidden ability Ice Scales protects the Pokemon with like an armor of ice, which halves damage taken by special moves, which is really cool. I'm going to put Snom at the end of B tier just because it's got a cute design. And I'll put Frostmoth above it. Ice Bug was like a really cool idea for a Pokemon. And evolves with Friendship at night. Alright, and then we have Mr. Rhyme. Ba-da-bum-bum. Where's Mr. Rhyme? I don't see Mr. Rhyme in the Pokedex. Oh. Alright, hold on. Did they put Mr. Rhyme under Generation 1 in the Pokedex app? Let me look. Because that would be weird if they did. But they might have. They did. They did put it under Gen 1 because it is the alternate evolution of... Galarian Mr. Mime first. We gotta do Galarian Mr. Mime first. Cool Pokemon. Ice Psychic. It does have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weaknesses. We'll just put it in top of C tier, and then we'll move on to Mr. Rhyme. Leon had a Mr. Rhyme. The champion used a Mr. Rhyme. Really cool. Psychic Ice type. Base at total of 520. I'm going to put Mr. Rhyme in A tier above Jinx. Nope, that's not Mr. Rhyme. Where's Mr. Rhyme? Here's Mr. Rhyme. I am going to put it there. I think that's a fair placement for Mr. Rhyme, aka Krusty the Clown. Yeah, that's true. Oh, it's already 11:22. Oh my gosh, we've been doing this for an hour and 22 minutes, guys. It's a lot of ice types. And then we have Galarian Darumaka. Basic total of 315. I'm going to put Galarian Darumaka low C tier. We'll put Galarian Darmanitan in high B tier, and then we're gonna put oh, I just lost it. We're gonna put Galarian Darmanitan Zen mode, which is an Ice and Fire type, very cool, with its own unique abilities. I'm gonna put that in A tier, just because that's a cool Pokemon idea. And then of course we have Calyrex. Glacier. I mean, we have Glacier with a legendary Pokemon, basic total of 580. Very cool design. I am going to put it in. I'm gonna put it above Black Kyurem actually. And then we have Ice Rider Calyrex, which is Psychic Ice type. And I'll put it. I'm gonna put it underneath Glacier just because I think it's cooler. And then what else do I have on my list here? Oh, we have to go to Gen. I gotta go to Legends Arceus first. And we gotta look at Hisuian Avalugg, which is an Ice Ground type. And we'll put that there. I'm just throwing Pokemon in random spots now. And now we'll move on to Paldea. Where is Paldea? Where is Scarlet and Violet? Nope, that's Sword and Shield. Oh my gosh. Scarlet and Violet. Okay. We'll hand this out real quick. Citadile. I'm going to put... Citadile is cute. I'm going to put it above Vanillite. Sea Titan. Very awesome Pokemon. I am going to put it above Vulpix. Chien-Pao. I'm going to put in the A tier above Mega Glalie. Iron Bundle is also going to be top of A tier. Is going to be top of A tier, and then we're going to put our pseudo legendary here. Where should I put him? Where should I put? Where should I put you? Where should I put you, Frigibax? I'm gonna put you in A tier. I'm gonna put you above, and then we will put Arctibax. We will put above you. And then Baxcalibur, we will put it top of S tier. Alright, that's it. We ranked all the Ice-type Pokemon. Yay, we did it. What do you guys think of this list? I probably have to go through it and organize it a little bit because there's way too many in the different tiers. Poor Smoochum, all alone in the S tier. Poor Smoochum. Alright, everybody, that is going to be it for today's stream. Thank you so much for watching. I had so much fun ranking these Ice-type Pokemon with you. Stay warm out there, everybody, and